Hey guys, I'm Jeffrey. This is my co-host Alex. Welcome back to Bus Talk. What are you drinking, man?
Water.
Why
Water,
did you
Moscow.
have to? Why did you have to have that little cup?
Because
You could've just have a regular cup?
That's what you drink.
You
This
could have a
with.
regular cup.
I look fancy, bro.
Do you know?
I got this. This is legit. It's legit.
I don't have time for that. All right, guys. So we got a special guest today. My boy Malcolm's going to be joining us on the podcast. First guest ever. We're going to talk about I just saw the title. Talk about podcasts and things like that.
Do that again. What was it?
The little shake. Little shake.
Boy, that's a shame.
Okay, can you stop being Yo, this is what happens when you stop drinking before the show. We've talked about this. All right, so I'm bringing on Malcolm now. Bring him on the show. Let him in.
Malcolm, where you at, bro?
Oh, sir.
Oh, what's up?
Welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Just
just
watching.
I think
this
you
guy.
did the. By the way, I think you did the. We're not all laid out. I'm drunk. We're not all together. I think we're doing the voice things.
No, I have a gallery.
Okay, go on. My bad. I didn't mean to kill the flow.
This is why I'm the leader here, bro.
Hey, let's cheers. Let's cheers because we got a guest.
Cheers to the guest.
Cheers to the guest.
For first time guest on the show.
Cheers.
There we go. What you got there, bro? What are you drinking?
This is alkaline water.
That's what I'm here really living.
Living.
All right, before we get into it, and then talk a little about the special guest today, we're I'm just gonna continue a shout out. You have a shot or not? Of course you don't.
I got the Moscow.
But I don't understand how you don't just. We do this every time.
I need to buy the Corona. I need to buy more plastic shots.
I can't deal with this. All right, so this week's we're doing a shout out to Amanda Chang, the Changster. Shout out to you, girl.
Shout out to Amanda.
I don't know you, girl, but Amanda, yeah. Cheers to you.
That's disgusting.
He said that's disgusting.
Don Julio with lime juice ain't the thing to do. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Ain't the thing to do. Oh shoot. So what's up, brother? It's about Malcolm. Malcolm, I feel like I can't do it justice, so I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Speak on it.
All right.
I feel like I'm gonna mess it up.
Nah, you're not gonna mess nothing up, man. I'm an average person. My name is Malcolm. My name is Malcolm Grant, and I run my own podcast, and that's called the Monday Hustle. The Monday Hustle. I am. The super buzzword is like being an entrepreneur is like the new fancy term for everybody that now has a job and they do some sort of side hustle, make a couple dollars. Like, there's a really fine line between an entrepreneur and somebody that just works. Like, I consider myself what someone defined as an intrapreneur is just like somebody that works really well to develop things for companies that may have already been created. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I don't necessarily consider myself a person that creates things from thin air and just, I just know how to survive. I'm just to
make things better.
Yeah, that's really just, my goal. And that's pretty much the whole premise of the Monday Hustle in general. And it's kind of created this identity for myself, but I'm just a regular guy, man. I'm just trying to take what I did and in hopes that I can inspire other people and just do right, because of all
crazy.
the
That's crazy. I'm already feeling inspired. That's crazy.
That's
crazy. That's funny. It's funny you say that because so I started watching the Monday Hustle. I'm like, you know what? And me and Alex, except for you see in episode 1, me and Alex for a while have been talking about like doing the podcast, this is, and then I'm like, fuck it, like this guy's doing this thing, like I'm, because I have a listener. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, it's time to do it. And then we kind of just got together again. Corona made it a little easier because we had a little more time in our hands. So we're like, fuck it, let's do it. But again, speak on that. Like I'm saying, like again, just seeing you do your shit. I'm like, fuck it, let's let's get it done. It's like we've been talking about doing this. Why not just do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I kind of got on that, and just to speak on again the Monday hustle and things like that. Like, what kind of like what? How do I put it? Like, how did it get started in a sense? Like how'd you just kind of come up with the concept and going forward like that?
Well, originally, a lot of people don't know this though. I worked in the restaurant industry for a while. I'm like talking to you and watching the Fortnite game. He's snapping right now. But
Get him, Chase. Get him, Chase.
I worked in the restaurant industry for a really long time. I wouldn't even say a long time, but a good portion of my 20s. I think I got in there maybe when I was, I don't know, 20, going on 21, all the way up until 26-ish. So I worked my way up. I started as just a prep cook, a line cook, and then I essentially worked my way up into management. And once I got into management, into managing the restaurant and managing the kitchen, and being in a position where I had to be there majority of the time, I took salary. And I had no problem really taking salary because I mean, majority of my time I wanted to be at work in the first place. And it just became very customary for me to like not have weekends off, not have holidays off, don't take any vacations. I mean, some days I'd work overnight, you know what I mean? And be there all day, moving into the next morning. And my weekends were essentially Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, right? That would be one of my days off that it would be. And when I got out of the restaurant industry, I remember going out for the first time on the weekend after not doing it for so many years. And like, I think I went to a brunch down in Fort Lauderdale, and I seen all the people like that I either used to hang out with or people that I used to talk to still kind of doing the same shit that I thought that I was missing out on, you know, on Saturday, Sundays. And it's just like, they're still in the same place. They're still doing the same shit. Like, I know exactly where to find who, where, and like, I know where the party's at. It was just like a revolving cycle. It was like Friday, you know, go out, get drunk. Saturday, find a party, get drunk, wake up Sunday morning, go to the beach, get drunk at the beach, have brunch, so on and so forth, you know, be hungover for a couple of days. And it was just like this repetitive thing that I did all through my teenage years, and then kind of carried over into, you know, working in the restaurant industry. When I essentially stopped doing all that and got into the normal lifestyle, I guess, of having a 9 to 5 and, you know, having Monday to Friday working and then being off Saturday, Sundays, I remember seeing how many people hated going to work on a day-to-day basis Monday. Like, everybody dreads the day of Monday. And I love Monday. For me personally, it's just like, that was my weekend. So like, I always, like, Saturdays and Sundays to me were nothing but chaos. Everybody was off of work. Yeah. Everybody was out. Everything was busy. Anything you wanted to go do, like, you couldn't book, you know what I mean? Like, all the business hours were Monday through Friday, and everything closed early on Saturdays or closed early on Sunday. So to me, it was like, I love Mondays. Like, I literally wake up and I used to enjoy it. So just, I guess it was just something that stuck with me for a while. And Mondays are coming regardless if you like it or not. You know what I mean? Every single day it was like, oh, Fridays are great. Saturdays are great. Sundays like, oh man, I know tomorrow's Monday. And then come Monday, it's like, oh, I fucking hate this. And it's like, you can't hate the same day every day of the week. Like, what you hate is your job, and what you hate is your life, and what you hate is what you're doing. And that's the reason why you hate this specific day, when it's like, for me, it's the cornerstone for my week. You know what I mean? If my Monday, like, I used to, basically my schedule would work now, like, things are obviously a little bit different, but my schedule would work. I go to church on Sunday. I have all day basically with my family, and then the word and the message that I would get from church would carry over into Monday, which would then carry over into how I'm going to get myself set up for the week. And it's just like, I noticed the difference, you know what I mean, in how I carried myself throughout the week, starting Mondays the right way versus not starting Mondays the right way. Because, you know, it's just like anything everybody else says, like, oh, I'm going to start next week. When does next week start for you? On Monday. I'm going to start next year. When does next year start for you? On the 1st, right, of January. You know what I mean? Like, it's always the first of, like, Mondays are the first day.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
how you approach it. You know what I'm saying?
you know, it's just like it's the first. You know what I mean? So like, why would you want to approach that with the mentality that you already dislike whatever it is? Nothing's even happened. People wake up literally on Monday with this idea and this notion that it's already a bad day because they have so much work to do. It's like, man, you should have set yourself up on Friday for Monday. You know that you got Saturday, Sunday off, whatever it is that you do. You know what I mean? It's just another day of the week. So that's essentially why I even started doing it on Mondays. To pretty much answer your question in a more,
in-depth way.
you know, in a depth way,
Nah, I
because
fucks with it. I fucks with it.
you know, because it's not just, to me, it's not just, yeah, it's just Monday's first day of the week. It's like it means something to me personally. You know what I mean?
I get you.
That's why I started on Monday. And to touch on the fact that you listen to the podcast too, it's like it's people that reach out and say things like, you helped me through blank, or I resonated with said story. I appreciate this with what you said, is like what kind of keeps that fire and that passion going. You know what I mean? Because
No,
like
yeah,
there's
I
no
get you.
greater feeling, like, and to be completely honest with you, I don't even think I actually reached out and told you this, but like there would be some times where I may not be feeling up for the challenge of creating content. And I would think, all right, I know Jeffrey's going to listen to this, so let me do it for the Jeffrey and the Jeffreys of the world. And that's kind of who I spoke to as I did my podcast. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it's just those things. You know, it's just really just like finding things a little bit more important than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Especially with us. I mean, I'll touch on it and then I'll let Alex touch on that. As far as like us, I mean, I definitely love the fact that like I think the reason why I've definitely loved this, and it's like each week I'm like excited to do it over and over again, is more like that. Like when the people come up to me like, or I got friends texting me like, "Yo, the podcast was dope. That was funny as fuck." Like this and that, things like that. I'm like, "Yo, you know what? Like someone's watching it." If it, like I said, our basis on our podcast a lot of times is like humor. We're just kind of like goofing, making fun of each other, and shit like that. And I know like sometimes like. Again, we drop ours on Monday too. No reason specifically. We just picked Monday because we just like, you know what? Let's just do Monday. But I think it's like it's funny coming into work, especially now with what's going on. A bunch of my like people that I work with, they're like, "Yo, that was actually funny as fuck. I had a good time. I watched it, just and I enjoyed it." I'm like, "Yo, that's just dope as fuck." Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Alex. Like, as far as your experience with it so far.
Well, people like hearing other people's experience because they can relate, and most of our stories that we tell, you know, are relatable, and people have gone through that, like the Vegas and the other things that we've talked about. So, yeah, man, it's cool when people actually bring it up, regardless if it's negative or positive, as long as they're watching and stuff. I mean, it's cool, and it does give you that fire, like you were saying, man, that you want to keep going just because you know that, you know, people are listening, or people are not dependent on you, but they want to listen to you talk and stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And we talk shit all the time. So it's kind of like, it's normal. We're just videotaping it and then just letting people hear it.
Yeah,
So
you guys.
it flows easy for us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys took a big jump. And I mean, I commend you on it for sure. Going straight to video. Um, for a number of reasons. You know what I mean? It requires a lot. I mean, for me personally, I don't edit or do anything to my my podcast. Like I speak, I want it to be raw and authentic. If I say something that naturally comes to mind, like I don't want it to be taken out. You know, I want the ums, I want the uhs, like, because it just makes you, I feel that it builds a better connection than listening to people that are very precise or concise with the words that they choose. It just feels like you're speaking to someone that's almost like, I don't know, out of touch or out of tune with, you know, society. It's like, wow, this guy can hold a conversation better than I can read a book, you know. But it's like, no, I stumble on words. I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes, or this may happen or this may happen. But with video, it's, something may go wrong where you have to edit it or take out, you know, something, or someone could walk in the background. But it's like, you guys don't,
Chase.
you know what I mean? Like, you guys don't really do that. So you can, I commend you on that aspect, you know, and also by keeping it authentic and keeping it raw. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I've
we
been
try
wanting to do
to.
video for a while too.
Yeah, we try to do it like that. I'm saying as far as like Pretty much what we record is what we record. We don't do different takes. We
Yeah.
don't this and that. Like I feel like some people are like, oh, we can just record again. I'm like, no. The point of the thing is just to be real. Like you said, to be
that's
authentic.
perfect. Well, Jeff, remember a perfect example. My kid walked in
Oh yeah.
on the,
Like,
while I was talking, and my wife opens the garage. I'm in my garage. She opens the damn garage. The kid comes in, and it's just like a hot mess. I'm like talking. The door is like loud as shit, and I'm like, we're like, fuck it. We're just gonna keep going with it,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's the
Like,
thing. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in. Like that's the point. The point is to be authentic.
it's funny.
Just kinda,
It's funny, and it happened.
it's just every day. Like that. I think the point of it is more for us is like we're not trying to come off of like we're doing the studio type thing. Like we're just being us. This is how we are off the camera. This is the same shit we say to each other. Like we're just trying to keep it real as fuck. And you touched base on it. You said you kind of wanted to like start video yourself. Is that something you plan on doing going forward, or?
Yeah, actually, I mean, there's not really much to show you right now, but in my office, I basically have just kind of been setting up my space.
Yeah.
Is
No,
the
I've been
best way
seeing.
I could describe it. Yeah, I think you've seen. I've posted
The
a few.
desk is dope as fuck.
I got shout outs to Art by Gino. That man hooked it up. So he definitely made my desk, and I'm super appreciative of it. Now that I've gotten the like streaming / like gaming area set up, I took off the closet doors, and I took my old desk, and Gino, actually the same person who made my desk, cut the desk to size.
Mhm.
So I'm setting up a Apple Mac area of where I would do my podcast right
Okay.
in my closet. So I mean,
That's dope.
it's really hard to describe because my closet's like you would think like a small closet space, but it fits regular sized desk. I can have 2 chairs right there, and I'm setting up two microphone stands, 2 new microphones. I'm getting an HD recorder to set up right there, and I have a backdrop basically on this wall right here, and that's where the video would eventually show. Because for the longest time I was like, I'm just gonna do it solo, and I was like, I don't know, it's more entertaining when you have someone else, especially when it comes to video. Otherwise, it's just I don't know. Like I have me personally have no problem with doing video. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. But I think the content, what I want is to not distract people from what I'm trying to say. Versus when you're having a conversation with people personally, I think that it's awesome to get expression and to get feedback, visually, versus like I'm just like this to my microphone. Like this is not entertaining to look at video wise. You know what I mean?
No, I get you.
And I'm very locked in when I'm doing it. Sometimes
You can tell. You can definitely tell from like when you listen to the podcast, like when you kind of get on a subject, especially a subject you care about, you can definitely tell in the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
So.
The thing with us is that we're very expressive. Like I don't know if you saw the last video, but Jeffrey's face every time Chase would walk in, you can tell like his expression was like he was so pissed, and it was fucking great. Like it was priceless. I just wanted to keep seeing the damn kid just keep walking back and forth because Jeffrey's vein was about to bust in his forehead, and it was awesome. And I saw, and I know how I know Jeffrey for a long time, so I already know like his body language. He was he was frustrated. He kept on getting his phone. He was like, he wasn't even like typing. Like he was like he was pissed. It was great. So like stuff like that, you can't. And I think that's why it worked on video for us, is that we do so much shit like on and off, and our facial expressions it's pretty fucking funny, man.
Even in the comments, you see like a friend of mine, Jessica. Shout out to Jess. She put it on and she's like, you can see Jeffrey about to blow up. Like,
yeah, like it's like the buildup. If you like, the best thing is like I watched the video so many times where like the first interaction happens and Jeffrey can tell like it bothered him. Then the second time he shows up, and then the third, and then like by the fourth one he's already had it. He's drinking. He's been sipping on his drink so much. Like it was
went from sipping to chugging.
Yeah, like he's like fuck this.
I actually started a podcast prior to this podcast. My solo project.
Was it Fuck Mondays? Is that the one?
No. So the first episode that's actually on the Monday Hustle is Fuck Mondays. Originally it was supposed to be a play.
Tuesday.
It was supposed to be a play on, essentially a play on the idea that, everyone's like, yeah, fuck Mondays. It's that negative, like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about Mondays. I definitely want to listen to this. But it's the complete opposite. You know what I mean? It's the same term that everyone talks about, fuck Monday. Yeah. But, let's kind of change that whole mindset. But No, that wasn't it. The problem was when I changed that because I think iTunes had something about you can't have the word fuck, so like I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it.
Oh, I get you.
Get it like approved or something to get on there. So I changed it to fuck Mondays, like PH. And I think even still then it was like, no, you can't do it. And I was like, I don't like the way this looks anyway. And then I don't remember exactly what happened, but something popped up. It was like the Monday Hustle.
And
but
it was
prior to all this, I did a podcast with a friend of mine. It was called The Felon and the Drunk is actually what it was called. And we did that for a while and it gained a lot of really good traction. Again, it was very similar to kind of like what you guys do. You know, we have just him and I and find topics and we would just talk. And, you know, I did all the recordings and stuff at his house. And basically what happened, like long story short, he kind of lost that passion and that fire, which we originally started to have in the beginning. And which I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. The reason why was because he, you know, got in a relationship, a happy relationship, who he's now getting married to, he's engaged to, which is awesome, you know, and, you know, he got his life together and found things that made him happy. But then on the flip side of that, it was like, we were covering really good ground with the Felon and the Drunk, you know, like there was a huge angle that we essentially wanted to go with it. And that kind of came abrupt, like to a stop essentially. And I still had things that I wanted to discuss and talk about. And I was like, look, man, like if I can't rely on meeting up with you on Sundays or meeting up with you on Saturdays, then I'm just going to start doing my own thing. He's like, all right, well, if you feel that way, then blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, you know, we did this with the intentions on giving back to the community that you came from. You know, that was the whole reason why we did it. And, you know, started a nonprofit company, I started a nonprofit organization too, and like went and paid money for a lawyer to go through all the paperwork and so on and so forth. And
God.
And then it just like kind of fell through,
Shit.
you know. So, but it was like I'll tell you exactly what happened. I'll tell you the story. It's not super long. So after we started a nonprofit, and the nonprofit was basically, we wanted to raise money to build CrossFit facilities in prisons and get enough money raised so that way we can get the inmates or a couple of inmates to get their certification, so it could essentially be a self-sufficient, like ran by inmates CrossFit facility inside the prison.
Parkour.
Yeah, so that's basically what it was. That's basically what it was. And we got the opportunity to meet with a good friend of ours, Dr. Matthew Abraham, who worked with the Geo Group, and the Geo Group was a private. They run basically private prisons that isn't run by the DOC, and he was trying to get us in with the company to essentially start with the private prisons. So we obviously had the legitimate side, like make our company more legit, or make our idea legit and make it an actual thing. Yeah. And then after we did that, we like sat down with like the Black Caucus, and then we sat down with I forget who it was called, like something. It's like a outpatient rehabilitation center that was down in Fort Lauderdale, and we went and spoke to a bunch of kids out there. And then basically, you know, we were just gonna put our face out there and start with private prisons and see if we can essentially use it as rehabilitation. Because what the Geo Group basically does is they work on trying to reduce the recidivism rate. And a lot of the inmates that are coming out within the last year, they get supplied with all the things to essentially get them back on their feet and not just kind of be thrown out into the world. And they pay for their housing, they pay for their clothing, they pay for the tools that they need for whatever jobs they need, they pay for trying to get them get them situated for whatever it is, whatever needs that they needed. And they do that for almost like 6 months to an entire year for these inmates after their program is over, essentially. And it's the only company that's doing it, and they've seen significant results. And one of those things was CrossFit, or just fitness in general, because CrossFit saved my life, you know, from a path of destruction that I continued to go on for a very long time. And he also went to prison for 5 years, prior, and that's how we met. And he was dealing with a lot of things like, you know, being apprehensive about telling people who he is, or being apprehensive about the things that or about just telling people about his past, or dealing with depression and anxiety and frustration and rage and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And these are all the same feelings that I kind of dealt with myself. And the middle ground was fitness, was finding something that could test us physically to essentially free us from, or liberate us from all the other bullshit that we were going through. And there's just a bunch of studies and things that nature that, like, scientifically, it also supports the fact that, you know, working out does help people grow, like, you know, whether it be spiritually, emotionally, physically, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things that, straight up.
Jeffrey's on that road.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that we were very passionate about, and you know, went and got all the things that we needed to get, and then things just kind of got complicated. You know, it became like, hey, you know, it got pitched to us like, hey, you can make it a profit. And it's like, I don't want to make it a profit. That wasn't the point. We're not trying to make money. It's like, yeah, but you don't have a job, and like, you want to get by. And I was like, I get it. I know I didn't at the time. I had like quit my job or lost my job. I think I lost my job, but I was trying to go all in on it, you know, regardless if I had a job or not. It wasn't about making money. It was about providing a service for people and essentially helping, just helping, you know, just doing exactly what it is that I felt needed to be done. And then that's when things kind of got, you know, foggy. And then so we just like kind of separated ways. Like we're still cool. Like we're mad straight. Like, you know, I'm invited to his wedding and everything. But I still want to make moves and, I don't know, help people the best I can. You know what I mean?
I get you.
So that's like the short version of kind of what happened with the first podcast. And then that's where the Monday Hustle came to be, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We all have our paths or a path to get where we are, and that was yours. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jeff was he kissed a guy back in.
Is that I feel like you have to say this in every podcast. This isn't true, people. Every episode.
Oh my God!
Wasn't there like a picture or something? I remember seeing something out there.
See, bro, look, Malcolm knows, man. Malcolm knows, man.
You know what? I think
next episode, tune in. Next episode, tune in.
I think I'm gonna do my own podcast.
I'm gonna do it home.
Fuck Tuesdays.
Don't do the Tuesday hustle. Don't do the Tuesday hustle,
I'm
bro.
gonna do it next Tuesday hustle.
Like, sue him, Malcolm, sue him.
Yeah, nah, man. I support it, dude. I think it's awesome. You know what I mean? Just any avenue of creativity, I think is important, you know. And I think doing this is creative. For me, it's therapeutic. I don't know if it's the same way for you guys, or you know, but
I think for us, it's like, again, we talk since Alex, like, because again, Alex moved over to Dallas, and it's like we talk every day. I think it's like another way to catch up and just kind of talk and not get things out in a sense, because we're just, again, we have a set topic and this and that, but just us, like, it's something we're doing that's like boys, like, yo, this is how kind of we stay in touch. We talk about the podcast all the time, this and that, like, because you said, like, life does happen, things change. This man married, baby on the way. Congrats again for that.
Baby on the way.
Yeah.
Yes,
so like,
sir.
So I'm saying there's so many things that life change, but like this is like a constant. Like this keeps us like together, talking, doing what we do anyways. So it's kind of like that on our sense, at least for us. And then just to kind of touch base on what you said, like the creativeness and that, like as far as like, because I don't know, most people don't know this, Alex has another channel, Mr. Titan, where he talks about Titan. I don't know if you get to tell in the back, he's a Titan fan.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, it's very subtle. Very subtle.
Yeah.
Where he talks football. So go follow Mr. Titan on YouTube. But I'd say as far as the content, like for you, I think it's a little easier where like you know what you're talking, like your content is like pretty much based on Titan stuff. But clearly,
it's pretty much it.
No, but I'm saying like we'll start with you, and then I'll move to you, Malcolm. As far as like finding content and things like that, like things to talk about, especially since it's off season, things like that. Like how easy is it for you, or like it's like what's the process on that? Because I know for us what it is. I'm saying more like on your side, just your Mr. Titan stuff.
It's sometimes it depends. Like it hit really good just because the draft came up. And then you had free agency. So that's always a good topic. And now the schedule drops. So now everyone's kind of like feasting on, everyone's doing their predictions and stuff like that. But other than that, after that, there's OTAs, which is like the mini camps and stuff like that. So you can cover it's only so much you can cover, you get me, until like the season or preseason starts. So I kind of just make it up as I go almost. I just talk about topics, maybe like games in the past or last year. Like last year I did the draft and stuff. So that kind of gives me some time just to do a couple more videos and stuff, just talking about like the past and shit like that. But other than that, it's kind of play it by ear. Hopefully like a free signing, like a free agent signing or something big like that. I'll make like a small video, nothing crazy and stuff. So it really just depends. So, and it's not like I have something like scheduled like every Monday or every Tuesday where it like we do where we just drop something. It kind of comes and goes. Like I'll interact in Twitter and shit, and people ask me questions and this and that. But as a video dropping, it depends.
All right, and you, Malcolm, as far as like content, like how do you come up with that week's topic and stuff like that?
I personally, my podcast topics usually come from something somebody says. Typically, like either something someone says to me or like something that may happen to me that week, because I like to keep it fresh. It's easy for me to lose that. When I say lose that fire, I don't mean like lose the motivation, but lose. It's like, do any of you make music?
Yeah, Alex
like,
is a
right?
rapper.
I tried. Eminem Part 2,
Okay.
man. Coming
Okay.
out.
All right. So I
No.
write music. I write music as well. So like,
Mhm.
I just like words, right? So when you
Okay.
get a beat and like you write it, basically what happens is like you're listening to the same beat, you're listening to the same lyrics or saying the same lyrics over and over again so you can get to the next part over and over. And then after a while the beats kind of just sounds like the same shit in your ear, and the words kind of just start to sound the same over and over, so you have to take a step back. When it comes to making podcast content, I find that it works best for me when it's extremely raw, fresh, and like it affects me recently for me to discuss what happens, because I can always notice. I think I listened to maybe I listened to two of my podcasts after I wrote, and I noticed that in the beginning it's like always very subtle, very chill, just, and then the part where
Later on.
I've noticed that the shift of the podcast changes is where I start to remember almost, all right, oh, I remember putting myself in that position. I remember talking to this lady. I remember doing da-da-da-da. And then I can feel my passion through my words as I start to speak.
Okay. No, yeah, we get
So
that.
it's like it makes it super easy for me, because so I've done a lot of really stupid shit in my life, and I have a lot of really negative like stories and a lot of dumb shit that I did. So it's
Jeffrey
like,
does too.
like just being like just being on the street from like 14 on, you know what I mean? Just like I have a shit ton of stories and things, but like I'm able to look back and reflect in retrospect, see what I've learned from that, versus when I used to look at my misfortune, it was like, the world sucks, people suck, this is this. And it's like, all right, well, now I'm able to be more wise, I guess, even though I'm not old, like, but I feel like I have an old soul sometimes, and when it comes to topics, man, things just happen in my life
Called
that
maturing, man. You're
yeah,
maturing. You're
and
maturing.
I don't know. I just like, I think last week, it was all about success. I feel like success is the same as failure, because somebody made a comment and said, I didn't continue with said diet plan or said workout plan. I'll just add another one of those failures to one of those things to my personal failures. Like very like subtle, like, fucking, I don't want it, just add it on. And this is just another thing that you could just say that I suck at or something. That was what's said. I heard it and I just continued doing what I was doing. And then I was sitting down and it started to resonate a little bit with me, thinking like, so all you're going to do is toss in the towel just because you made one mistake. And I was like, you know how many times I was remember then just kind of the conversation I had was, do you know how many times I made a mistake in my life that I didn't just give up? Like I would still be in a homeless shelter, you know, or I probably would have been locked up if I continued doing blank and blank and just being like, fuck it. Like I used to have this mentality that like, I used to have this mentality where if my teacher yelled at me, my pride would get hurt. So she'd yell at me or he would yell at me. My pride would get hurt. So I continue to, you know, be a little badass rebel and then give me like, I don't know, whatever the thing is before detention. Like you get written up or something. And then it'd be like, oh, fuck, I already got written up. Who cares? Like, oh, now you got detention. All right, I got detention. Fucking now I got suspended. I'm like, oh, I got suspended. Then fuck it. You know, just kind of just that snowball effect and continuously going on and realizing like, oh man, my teacher just doesn't like me. But no, that's not the case. It's like you're a detriment to your own success, you know? And had I continued down that road, like I wouldn't be considered successful or be where I am today. You know what I mean? Had I just been like, you know, I failed once or I made one mistake. And then that's just kind of how the thought process goes for majority of the episodes.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool because like I feel like it said we're all technically like me and Alex have the same podcast, but we have like separate ones, all three of us. But it's cool like how the different like thoughts go into as far as building an episode, things like that. Where yours is like more like rom-com, things like that. Like you kind of take it off like something that happens throughout the day. Me and him, like at least for Bus Talk, we kind of like meticulously like I'll sit back and again I've been wearing a lot of overnight, so I'm like I got a lot of time in my hand, so I'm like. What like this week we'll talk about this. Then next week kind of build an episode going from there. Again, we have the free form where we're like we're very casual when we talk things like that. So like I know like it's more of a basis like okay, so this week's episode will be this, knowing that this is gonna branch out to 4 different things throughout the episode, things like that. That's kind of like how we do on our end because we know that it's not gonna be like we're not gonna talk Red Solo Cup and it's gonna be of 30 minutes of Red Solo Cup. Like I know that's going to deviate to this, and that. So that's kind of the premise of that, at least on how we do it on our end of it, as far as the content, things like that. I think it's cool just like having the different aspects, and that's what I kind of want to ask you guys, because like how different podcasts have different things. I feel like a lot of people like think you're starting a podcast. There's almost like a step 1,
like the same thing,
1 through 10, like how to do the podcast. And I guess
you were gonna say 6.
I don't know.
1 through 6.
1 through 6.
7, 10. I don't know.
Chase, come out! Come on, Chase!
Actually, shout out to Chase. He just got a dub last game, man. I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, did I not see that?
Yeah, he got a dub last game. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, I feel like a lot. Again, I don't speak on it because, like, when we started doing the podcast, like, before we actually started doing it, I'm a person where, like, I need to do research on things. Like, I need to, like, know the inner workings in a sense. I don't just jump into things, which is kind of not a flaw in myself, but like sometimes I do feel like that's a detriment sometimes to things.
Nah, not at all. You know why? Because I used my boy used to do the same thing when we did the podcast. He was very like, he was very like, hey, what are we gonna talk about? We're gonna write it down. We're gonna take this is all the bullet points. He's like, you got your bullet points? I was like, bro, I don't got no bullet points because I know how to have a conversation. You know, that is a skill that I have acquired over the course of my lifetime and learning how to speak and express myself. So it's my job to continue to have the conversation with you. And if you feel that you have to prepare yourself mentally, then by all means, you know, because what will happen is what happens is it gives you a peace of mind, regardless if the conversation goes off a little bit. At least you always know that if something were to happen, right, that threw your conversation to completely nowhere, you at least know in the back of your mind, like, oh, I have these bullet points that I wanted to go back to that I didn't touch on, so I could still go back. So it gives you some sort of reference. Whereas, like, I know who I am as a person, and if you guys didn't even have, you know, anything to talk about, I can carry on a conversation with you guys for the next 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, it also depends who you talk to. There's been plenty of people that I've had conversations with, and I'm like, this is very dull. Like, I'm pulling it out of you. You know what I mean? But
it's like they don't want to be there. It's like you're trying to make the conversation for them instead of it being both ways. Yeah. It's true though, man. There's a lot of people that don't know how to carry a conversation or don't know how to talk.
And I think it's important too to kind of just, you know, run your own course and do what it is that you enjoy doing. I think writing things down sometimes, like, the last episode, I had so many things coming to me at one time that I wanted to make sure that I typed it all out, but didn't read it verbatim. You know, just same thing. But it's not always like I'll just talk. I'll just talk the way that I normally talk, and the same thing will happen. It'll be one main topic, and then something will happen. I'm like, oh, I'll talk on this. But what tends to happen sometimes when I used to write in the beginning was I'd talk about everything, and I'd be like, man, I really want to talk about something else that branches off from that one topic I spoke about. But then I'm like overthinking. I'm like, oh, but what if it's, you know what I mean? So it depends on some things. Like I did a podcast with my girl, and it was the same thing. She's like, you didn't even prepare me for this. I was like, I don't want to, because I want you, if you say that I'm a piece of shit and you hate me, like I want that to come out of your mouth, not be like, he's the best person ever and everything's great, because that is what I'm trying to reach for, authenticity as much as possible, whether I may like the end result or not, you know. But
yeah, that was a good one. I heard that episode. I was actually at work when I heard that one. That one was like legit with your girl. That was a good episode. It's funny, like the back and forth between you guys. It was good. Definitely, that was dope. Let me see where we at on time, boy. Chase out here really just murking dudes left and right back there.
Damn, boy.
Chase out here doing work.
That's that old school. That's that I think that's that all gold.
Yeah, the old one. Boy, are really doing it. Let me see. Then we're just watching Chase play. I think we're just here like.
Alex, so what do you do for work, or what do you do for fun? I guess would be the more appropriate question, unless your work is fun.
Fun, man. Lately it's just been working out, man. I was at 210. I was pulling some massive weight, man. And after all this shit, I just started running every day. Just started working out. Started buying some mats and stuff, and just working out, man. I'm at 174 right now. Feeling good.
So from 210. Oh, when you first started working out. Okay. All right. Yeah. I thought
it was about 2 months ago.
210 and then quarantine. So during quarantine you dropped 30 pounds. Right?
Yeah.
36. Running. Was that 36 pounds? Running. And that's something you wanted to lose weight?
Yeah. Oh, that was that was one of my goals. It was actually going to be 175. Went to the doctors and they said like my cholesterol was high and shit, and I was always having headaches at work and stuff. So I was like, you know what? And I was eating junk food every day. So I kind of cleaned myself out, and I just started running every day, 7 miles when the gym closed and stuff, because I was working out in the gym. Just started doing, buying weights and just running every day, man. And I dropped I dropped quick, man. I dropped quick. I was running at least twice a week, 7 miles. And
bro, that's extremely impressive. I mean, kudos to you. Okay. So you were at 210. Were you heavier than 210 prior?
No, that's the most I've ever been.
Okay.
210.
When you were at 210, how long do you think that it took you to make, or what happened for you to decide that you wanted to essentially lose weight? Because obviously you would consider yourself unhealthy at that time, yeah?
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
It was basically the doctor visit kind of woke me up, because my family does have like a history of diabetes and stuff, and I don't want to go down. I seen the way my dad has gone down a bad path with that stuff. So, and I have another kid on the way, and I have my son and stuff. So I was like, I just put that all into perspective, and I usually, what's good about me is I kind of, when I get focused on want a goal, like I usually hit it. So I'm at 174 right now, but I might drop a little bit more.
Yeah.
I just have to see how I feel and stuff, but I feel good, man. I have no headaches, nothing at all. Wake up with good energy, bro. I work really late. I'm really early technically. I work at 3 a.m. till 12:15 in the afternoon. And on my breaks back in the day, I would always be asleep. And now since I've been working out and eating right, I don't even go to sleep because I just have so much energy, man. I'm just like, I can't even go to sleep. Back then, I was like dying to go to sleep every break I had. So
that's amazing. That's impressive. I mean, I still do work in the fitness space. Like I still do training, I still do coach people, and to me, it's like, for me, it's a blessing. I mean, it's more. I used to always say it all the time. One, to touch on what you said is I always tell people, I say I'm dangerous when I'm focused. That's 100% accurate. You know, because when I put my mind to something, then it's all out warfare, no matter who's in my way or what's in my way. And the second thing being, when I coach and when I train, I didn't care how much you can lift or what you can lift. It only mattered to me that you did it with elegance, where I looked at you and I'm like, wow, that was impressive. Not about how much it is, just how well you moved it. And what gave me the most pleasure in my coaching days was when I was actually physically coaching a CrossFit, was seeing people just be so excited about taking their first step, essentially. You know, like I remember I had a lady that she struggled with walking up the stairs without holding on to the rail, and I did a bunch of personal training with her, and I remember specifically like getting her to finally come back and be like, oh my God, I showed my husband I was able to finally walk up the stairs without holding on to the rail. And like something as simple as that, like made my whole year.
Makes the best, yeah.
And like, to me, it's funny you mentioned that. The reason being is because I was just having this discussion with somebody over Instagram, because somebody had posted about the whole the body positivity movement, that every person should be comfortable in their skin and blah blah blah. And it has not. Yes, I think people should be 100% confident in themselves and in their skin. What happens is, especially what he said was that what happens if you are unhealthy, out of shape, and like basically killing yourself, and you just like, oh, you know, I love me, I did it. It justifies complacency. It justifies bad habits. It justifies poor standards. And it promotes poor health as being okay for whomever watches you or your kid, whatever the case is. And
it's a bad step. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Because then your kids get that same trait. They see that you're so complacent and that you kind of let yourself go, and it's just like it's a bad cycle that happens.
It's crazy. I used to see it all the time where people would say to me, like, you know, you're so lucky that you can do blank. And I was like, listen, I'm not lucky that I can do whatever said movement. I've been putting in X amount of time and effort into achieving blank. You tell me you want to lose weight and you come to me and I tell you this is the game plan you need to follow, and you tell me you can't do it after 3 weeks, you don't care enough.
A lot of people don't have that focus, man. A lot of people don't have that focus or that drive. A lot of people put excuses and stuff. There was a guy that works with me, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to lose weight too. I'm like, oh, cool. That the minute the gym stopped, he was going to the gym every day. The minute the gym, they closed down, he's like, yeah, I don't really want to go outside. I'm like, then you're not motivated enough to do it. Because guess what? I didn't let the gym stop me. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to go run outside then. Yeah. Like, I need to do something. I'm not just going to stop just because the gym closes. Like, that doesn't make sense. And he's still at his weight. And then he sees me. He's like, oh, man, you got so skinny. I'm like, yeah, because I put, this just doesn't come just like because I want to do something. I busted my ass. Like, I ran 7 miles every single day. Like, you think I want to run? Like, I hate running, but fuck it. I'm going to go out there and I'm like, you know what? Just motivation. Just once I'm ready running, like there's no stopping. I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. And that was kind of like me pushing myself, especially going for 7 miles. Cause I would do 3 miles at first. And I was like, I think I could like push it. And then now I run to my downtown, which is 8 miles. And I run back. Like I have no problem doing that. So
that's more than me. And I feel like I'm in shape.
Man, it's good. Before I would walk up a flight of stairs and breathe heavy, I would snore. My wife would get pissed because I would snore all the time. Sounds like I was just really congested and shit. Now I don't even snore anymore. I mean, it's changed, man. And I do want to. A lot of people are like, oh, you can go back to being how you were. And I'm like, no, I don't. I want to continue this lifestyle because I feel better for myself. It feels good, so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where you don't know how you're supposed to feel truly until you actually put the effort to feel better. Because probably when you were feeling the way that you were feeling at the point in time, you felt like it was normal. And just like, yeah, whatever, I snore, or yeah, whatever, I have a headache all the time. I've always had a headache all my life. And now that you don't have those things in your life anymore, you're like, wow, why the
Oh,
hell would I
shit,
ever
yeah.
want to go back to blank? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Especially
Yep.
because if you were unhappy, you know, like you feel like,
Yeah.
why not take the latter? You know, you want
Mhm.
it to be better off for you. You know what I mean? And like, and don't get me wrong, you know, like if you're happy and you love your life and you're healthy and you take care of yourself, like it's not about body shaming. It's not about the way that you look. You don't have to have a six pack. You don't have to have muscles. You know what I mean? But like, it's important to be a role model. I think in anybody's eyes, like there are people, regardless of whether you believe it or not, that look up to you. There are plenty of people that are going to be out there that will consistently want to learn from you or watch you from afar. There's probably people, I know for a certain fact that there's people that listen to my podcast that don't subscribe, that don't share, that don't do so on and so forth. And then I'm sure that there's plenty of people that watch your, you know, YouTube, don't comment, don't like, don't share, but they wait for it to come out, you know, that they're like, oh, I want to listen to what they have to say.
Yep.
And I want to do on so on and so forth. And maybe one or two ways. Either they're waiting for you to do something stupid so they can talk shit, or they're waiting for something to really, really
Yep.
change their life and be like, hey, I've been watching you for the past year. I haven't really said anything, but so that's super important. Mindful to think about too on the show. Just, you know, just my 2 cents and my opinion on that, because I do know there have been people that have approached me and be like, hey, you said something on your podcast when blank and blank. And I'm like, dude, you're in jail for 10 years. I didn't even know that you like had been listening to my podcast, you know, all the way back to when we had the Felon and the Drunk, and like, didn't even know you followed me and didn't know you know, you were listening to this and that. And it's like, I don't know. Just,
It's crazy.
like, you
No,
know,
it is crazy, man. It's super crazy. Like I just finished interviewing a football player from back in 2000. He played, I think, NFL for like 5 years, and he went through anxiety. He went through depression, and he was like, you know what? You know, I'm really thankful for all that. But now he teaches and he shows kids that have the same, you know, problem, like how to overcome it and stuff. And he's like, I love helping people out. And you know what? It's, you never know who's out there listening or who's out there, you know, willing to help other people, man. It's good, man. It's pretty cool.
for sure.
Yes, sir. So,
Hey, Jeffrey.
hey, man, just leave me out of the conversation.
Just leave me over here.
Just keep drinking.
Nah, just
Keep
kidding.
drinking.
Nah, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, dude. You killed it. Do your thing. Everyone out there, make sure to go subscribe to the Monday Hustle. Or it's on iTunes. I think
It's on anything you listen to. It's like
Anything and everything?
iTunes,
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
It's like Apple Podcasts, Spotify is another one. I forget whatever the hell those Android users use, whatever it's called. Google Play.
So make sure to go subscribe to my dude. It's good content, great story. Love to do. We're definitely gonna have you back on the show at some point. We definitely gotta have you back on. Appreciate you being the first host.
I'm going to Monday Hustle.
First
guest.
Forget you.
Monday Hustle. I'm moving.
I'm changing shows. I appreciate you being the first guest on the show. Appreciate it a lot, man. Thanks for the insight, things like that. Alex, anything you want to sign off with?
Sign off with? No, but again, like he said, kind of just to piggyback on him. Thanks for taking your time, man, and you can tell that you can hold a conversation and keep doing what you're doing. I'm definitely gonna go right after this. Probably listen to some of your stuff right now, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You know, all feedback is welcome. I think it's important because, you know, I may not be for everybody and vice versa, but my information my delivery just may not be the right way, and something that you may take from that you can pass on to someone else. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty in, you know, connection and conversation for me. You know, just you learn something from everybody, good or bad. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There you go.
All right, guys. No, man, appreciate it, man. And no, thank you, if anything. All right, guys. So make sure you have fun, stay safe, and most importantly, stay buzzed. Deuces.
Stay buzzed. Peace.